Pavarotti Plus is the generic title for this extraordinary event. Emerson Buckley is conducting the New York City Opera Orchestra.
Pavarotti Plus will be back very shortly. With me, I've been sitting here watching this with Catherine Long-Fielding and with Ellie Heffernan. Catherine, you're a singer. What did you, tell me your reaction to this performance?
Oh, it's so exciting to listen to opera. We don't have very many opportunities to hear it live in Yakima, unfortunately, but to have it right here is just wonderful. My vocal cords are sore. I can't listen to music without singing silently. I was laughed at not long ago for that.
Is that right? So you actually sing silently along with all of them?
They work. They work. Yes.
Was there anything you particularly liked?
Oh, the last number. I'd die to sing with Pavarotti. I would.
How about you, Ellie? What did you particularly like?
Well, the sextet from Lucia de Lammermoor, of course, has got to be my favorite of all, and to be introduced to these young singers by Pavarotti is a real thrill for us to get to know. Mary Jane Johnson is just a tremendous potential, I think, for singer. And then that we don't have opera, as Kathy says, and if we did have the Met at our door, it would still cost us $45 to $50 to go, and here we could sit and enjoy it.
Is that what it costs to go if you went to the opera?
If you're lucky enough to be there,
$45 per ticket, right?
I especially am glad to have KYVE and the performing arts programs they have, well, especially since I had children 3 years ago. Difficult enough to get out to the capital, but to be able to see what we have from New York coming home where I can warm a bottle when I have to is terrific.
Thank you for your comments, and now we're going over to the chairman of KYVE's board, Ginger Hislop.
Thank you, Marilyn. We know that the audience for this type of musical production is not as large as the audience perhaps for country and western, but I think it's terribly important that the viewers of Central Washington have an opportunity to see and hear this marvelous classical program. We do need the membership dollar support, because as board members we have to be very careful of our budgeting, and we do not buy programs that we cannot pay for. That's the bottom line as far as the board is concerned. And I'm not sure just how far short we fell in our budgeting process last December. Would you bring us up to date on that, please, Jeff?
That's the sad news that we have to do tonight in the middle of this celebration, is tell you that in December, when we had our normal pledge drive, we did fall $12,000 short of our goal. And we are hoping, as a matter of fact, to pick that up in this month, and to have those of you who are participating in opera tonight singing along as Kathy is with these marvelous stars to join with us. Not only are we looking to pick up what we fell short in December, Mr. and Mrs. Ted Robertson, Ted and Bill Robertson, made a marvelous challenge to all of us. And they said, we want to help you, KYVE, but because we love your programs and we love what you mean to the community. But so that our money can mean twice as much, we want you to get a new member to pledge $60 or more, and then we'll match it dollar for dollar. Well, the sad thing is that we fell $3,500 short of matching the $20,000 they made available for us. So we're here tonight to encourage those of you who are watching, because we know that at any one time, the people that are watching KYVE, only a small percentage are members. We want you that appreciate and are enjoying this program. I know there's a lot of you out there that probably are not fans of opera per se. Maybe you don't sit and watch through an entire opera, but when we have the stars that we have tonight, then you sit down and watch and pick just the highlights of the marvelous programs and the marvelous operas that are available. It's a tremendous evening. And so we have two goals tonight: to help reach more of that $20,000 that Ted and Bill Robertson made available. And we'd like tonight to make $3,000 in new pledges to come into KYVE so that we can afford these kinds of programs in the years to come. Sitting with us here with Ginger and I is Roger Finch. And Roger, you have a story that I think is really like a lot of people's. You watched KYVE for some time before pledging.
Yes, as my wife and I related in the recent pledge drive, the night that we worked in that pledge drive, we watched KYVE for a long time before it suddenly occurred to us that we were the people they were talking to when they were asking for a contribution or a pledge of money. our children had been raised on Sesame Street, and we had heard Pavarotti. I can remember very distinctly the first time that I ever heard Pavarotti. It was on KYVE television. And one evening my wife turned to me and said, you know, we need to be pledging. We need to be contributing. And as we talked at the time, it took 2 or 3 arguments to see who was going to get and make the phone call, but we did finally make the phone call, and we've been real pleased. We feel a tremendous sense of accomplishment to have helped in our own small way to bring this program, for instance, this evening to us, and we really enjoy that. And I'd like to encourage any of you out there that are listening this evening to take a moment and recognize that you are the folks that we're talking to, particularly if you've never contributed before. There are a number of different contribution types that you can make. You can make a $36 basic contribution per year, a $60 family contribution. If you will contribute $120, we perceive that as an investor contribution. $180 will put you in our Believers Club, $250 in our Leaders Circle, and we identify those folks who pledge $500 or more as benefactors of KYVE. And although that may sound like a lot of money, I'll take you back to the bottom of the list if you'd care to. It is important for each of you that are enjoying this program tonight to recognize that you can contribute, you can help to bring these programs to KYVE in the future.
You know, I was thinking, Ginger brought her opera glasses with her tonight, and we're sitting here, and thanks to some fine folks, and we'll get to all of their names later, we have a beautiful big screen that we're watching the program on. It's quite a ways away. We don't need the opera glasses to see. The sound is coming through clearly. We're having a marvelous time. Your phone calls are coming in, and we are so pleased that you're enjoying with us and celebrating with us this kind of programming. And even our phone is beginning to ring. I believe Marilyn, back here at another table, has some more friends.
How can I help you?
I'm sitting here with Tom Matthews and with Jane Finch, and they've been enjoying the program tonight. Jane, you've been looking at the menu. We have things coming up.
Yes, and I'm just so excited to see what the programs are planned for this spring in March and January and also in April. Looking through here, in April there's going to be Electra, Richard Strauss opera. That's wonderful to get the chance to see that. When I moved to the Valley, I thought, oh, it's going to be terrible that I won't be able to see much opera, and I didn't get to Seattle too much. But when these performances started happening, I was so thrilled. I noticed the Marriage of Figaro is coming up in March, and Kathleen Battle will be performing Susanna, and Kathleen Battle is the up-and-coming star now of the Met, and she's from my home state, Ohio, and she was a music teacher and has been singing about 10 years, and that's going to be an exciting performance. And I noticed I was in Cavalier Rusticana, and that's going to be coming up in April too, so I'm going to have some fun this spring.
We've got lots of good things coming up, and one way people learn about that is through getting our program guide, Focus.
That's right.
Since we didn't make our goal last December, how come we've got such a marvelous program tonight?
Well, glad you asked that question, and one of the reasons is because we have to buy our programs ahead. We have to commit. I mean, obviously we couldn't wait till the month before to commit to a program, just like they have to commit their money ahead. So it's one of those kinds of things that we're just we're buying now for next year.
If we don't make it up tonight, how soon are we going to feel the shortfall?
We might feel it as early as next fall. It does take a while, but it might be a year or two down, because as I said, again, we make commitments for these programs ahead. They make commitments based on our money, so it's very important that people do call in and support.
Well, that sure makes it evident that just because we have wonderful programs now, it doesn't mean we'll have them sometime down the line, sometime in the future. It's very easy for people to forget their pledges. I know that a lot of my patients forget their follow-up visit, which is so important. A lot of them will avoid them, and it's just as important to KYVE for people to remember their pledges and, whenever possible, to increase them. Have you renewed your pledge for this year?
If they haven't, we hope that you will call in right now in 457-3100. Jeff?
Marilyn, the house manager is blinking the lights. And it's time to go back for the second part of Pavarotti Plus, but our phones have slowed down for just a moment. We're trying this just a little bit different tonight to let you know that it's not just Marilyn and I that come and tell you how important it is, but we have many, many friends who appreciate the program just like you do. And on this cold and wet night outside, as some of that snow has, I guess, melted and started to freeze again, have come out to be with us to share with you their thoughts of why KYVE is important to them. And just as we go back, won't you make that call right now? Let us know your support, a new member, a renewing pledge, an additional gift, so that we can enjoy this kind of programming not only this year, but next year and the next and the next, as we're committing that money right now. It's been so nice to have you call and to make those pledges. The phones are ringing. We'll be letting you know throughout the program tonight just how we're doing, so you stay with us as we go back now to Act 2 of Pavarotti Plus.